Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Caitlin Hill. If you haven't already subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and like and share this video with your friends and family. So I have been breastfeeding twins for 8 months now, a commitment. It is definitely not always easy, and it takes a lot of dedication and willpower. I know that generally when having twins, it's recommended to also supplement your breast milk with formula, which I can imagine would make things, easier, definitely. It's just that for me, I never found a formula that I felt was clean enough to want to give to my babies. I just always feel that my breast milk is the best thing to give them. And since I have had no issues with having an abundance of it, I felt exclusively breastfeeding them and not supplementing it and not giving them any formula at all was just the easiest for me. That's not to say that there isn't so many reasons why a mother would want to give formula to their babies. I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. And of course, there are many, many situations where formula is needed, of course. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't give formula to your baby. I'm just speaking from my own personal experience that felt right for me. I am 100% speaking from that place. So no judgment if that's something that you wanted to do. I definitely considered giving them formula at some points. I just would always go online to look up formulas that sort of felt like it had the proper ingredients that I wanted to give to my babies, something that I felt was the right thing to give them, and there just wasn't a brand that I felt that I resonated with. There was one company that I did consider, but it was a company from the States that didn't deliver to Canada. And by the time it would have arrived, we were already starting to give them solids. So I just didn't feel like it was necessary. And I'm quite stubborn sometimes in the sense of like, I just know that I need to just get through this really, really hard time in order to get to the other side. I sort of just kept my head down and kept on exclusively breastfeeding the whole time. And that's just what's worked for me. I'm going to share some tips and tricks on how I have done that and how it has worked for me and how I'm continuing to go, and I have no plans on stopping. Like I will really listen to my body and my babies on when it feels like it's the right time to stop. It's a very, very, very personal decision, breastfeeding. It's very, very much just between the mother and the baby/babies in my case. This is not something that anyone else can give you an opinion on. Nobody. This is very, very, very personal. It's sort of like writing a love letter. It's not something someone else can write for you. It's the same with breastfeeding. It's very much between mama and baby. It's something that you have gone through months and months of doing together. You form this connection and this bond through breastfeeding, and it's something that it's very sacred. To decide to stop is something that is a decision that you can only feel within yourself. And I know with Safia, when I stopped feeding her at 22 months, I literally woke up one day and I just knew that I was done. That was it. I was done, and it only took about 3 days for her to understand that it was no more boobies. When I sort of listened to other people be like, oh, she's almost 2, you're still breastfeeding, blah, blah, blah. And when I tried to stop earlier on, it just never felt right, and it always felt more difficult. So when it was on my time and also Safia's time, I felt she was done too. That's when it felt right, and it worked the best. It always comes back to support with breastfeeding. Having your partner on board with supporting you in your breastfeeding journey is very important. Having the people that live in your household also being supportive of your breastfeeding is so key, because for me, I'm basically like boobs out all the time. Like I am constantly breastfeeding, so it's like I need to feel comfortable. And I have this theory with breast milk is that it's sort of like the universe. Like the more you call in for it and the more you are asking for it and from it, it will give. There's a never-ending source and supply of it. It just has to be, it's more mental than physical. And that is, I think, how breast milk is made. It is so mental. So if you have the proper support around you that's helping you and giving you the support you need, whether that's, food being a huge one, making sure that you're getting enough nutrients and calories into your body, because you need to be creating that milk from the food that you're eating. For me, I'm lucky enough to have a community of support of family and friends that help us out. For example, in the very beginning, we actually laid out a 6-week schedule for our families, mine and Matisse's families, to come and help us out. And every single day we had a different person come and help us out, whether that was to watch Safi, to cook, to clean, to make sure that we were being fully supported. So I never had to think about what I was going to be eating. And I always had 3 meals a day plus snacks, and that was the priority, to make sure that I was creating enough proper breast milk and high nutrient dense breast milk for my babies to be eating. Very, very, very important. It still is very important. I can't believe how much I eat breastfeeding twins. Like, I am constantly eating. Matisse always says I used to eat like a bird, and now I eat like probably as much as he does or more. And so just always making sure that I'm eating enough, drinking enough water. I drink water with a little bit of Celtic sea salt in it every single morning, because that helps mineralize my body, makes me, just get to homeostasis, which is a balanced place. Of course, not making you feel embarrassed about breastfeeding, accepting that this is something that you are doing to feed your child, that you're never made to feel weird about it. I think that when you have this kind of preconceived notion, even in your own brain, in your own belief system, that maybe breastfeeding is weird, that could really interrupt the flow of your breast milk from producing. I take a lot of supplements. I am taking vitamin D, B12, magnesium, Sheila's G, probiotics, all really important stuff that's all going into your breast milk, that's going into your baby. So that's another thing that's gonna help you produce more milk. Again, under the umbrella of the support system, having enough sleep, taking care of yourself, resting, making sure that you are prioritizing self-care. Of course, breastfeeding, you are spending a lot of energy and time, so much time. I wonder how many hours I've just spent breastfeeding twins in the last 8 months. It's more than 2 jobs, for sure. So, letting people know around you when you need a break, asking for help. I remember before having Safia, I was always sort of embarrassed to ask for help, and now I'm like, no, I need to ask for help, because this is for my well-being, to be resting and taking care of myself and making sure that I am, working as best as I possibly can. And I am basically a milk machine at this point in my life. So I need to take care of myself and ask for help, and just know that we are not supposed to do this alone. We are not supposed to mother alone. We're not supposed to raise kids alone. We're supposed to be raising kids in communities. And this is only something in the last 100 years where people have started kind of like thinking that you're supposed to do it alone. It's not supposed to be like that. The expression, it takes a village. It does take a village. So relying on that village of support is super, super important to have a successful breastfeeding career. Another thing that really helped me breastfeed, especially in the beginning, was that I gave birth naked. Again, this is all my personal opinion and my personal thoughts, but I really believe that since I was naked, there was no piece of cloth, there was no disconnect in between my first baby that came out, Rumi, connection from having the baby go onto my naked skin and onto my naked body. Right off the bat, my oxytocin is flowing and my breast milk began to flow. She immediately latched onto my breast within seconds of being born. So that mammalian connection right off the bat is what allowed my breast milk to initially flow. I truly believe that if your baby is taken away from you right away, that connection can be sort of broken. And so I highly recommend giving birth naked in order to instill that initial connection and to have your breast milk to flow. And the coolest thing ever was that because she went on my breast right away, it allowed for my oxytocin to flow and to have my contractions to continue to go. And baby B, Elio, she came out right away. So it's all connected. It's so much more deep than we can even imagine. Another really, really important thing, I think with twins especially, I breastfeed them both 90% of the time at the same time. In the beginning, it was very much a challenge because they were so small. It was hard for me to latch them both on at the same time. It was like I'd get one latched on and then the other one would fall off, and then I'd get the other one latched on and then the other one would fall off. Now that they're bigger, they basically like take their hands and they just pull themselves onto my nipple. So it's like super easy to just kind of just get them both on there, and they're both like holding on. It not only saves time, but it also helps with my breast milk if they're both feeding at the same time. Stimulation is there, the milk production is happening, and it's just constantly flowing. It also helps keep them on the same schedule. So that is huge. I think another really important thing is that I've never questioned or doubted my body's ability to produce enough breast milk for them. I know that when women are having babies, especially twins, that their OBs or doctors, midwives often tell them that they probably will have to supplement with some kind of formula. I have been on my own journey, so I've never had that kind of doubt put into my mind. So I think it's really important to not even give it any kind of time or thought or time of day to even go there. Like, my body created 2 babies, not 4 babies, 2 babies, and it certainly has the ability to produce enough breast milk for the both of them. I am a believer in that our thoughts affect our entire body and how it operates. For me, was like, I'm going to produce enough breast milk for both of my babies to live off of, and it's the perfect golden miracle substance for them. It's specifically made for them and their bodies, their immune systems, their development, and that was just never a doubt in my belief system whatsoever. Trusting in your body's ability to produce what it is that they need is basically the most important thing, to be honest. It really does come from just within you and trusting that you work, you are not broken, you are enough for your babies. And of course, it is extremely challenging. I have gone through, like, my nipples just absolutely hurting so much. It's so hard to just get them on there, and it's like military training. Like, I just push through every single time, and I know that this is what's best for them and their bodies, and it's not forever. So this time is very short, it's very temporary, and I know that I can get through it and I can push through it, and this is going to benefit them and their bodies forever. Yeah, that's what basically gets me through the nights, is just being like, only temporary, and I am becoming stronger by doing this for them and putting in this time for them, and it will eventually pay off in the future for sure. We also started baby-led weaning a little bit earlier. Doctors recommend 6 months. I noticed that they were drawn to eating food around 4.5 months. We started doing baby-led weaning around 4.5 months. I noticed that they were curious in food. They were starting to grab at the food that we were eating. And I intuitively felt that that was what was best for them, and that was the best time for them to start. I think that helped a lot as well. And now, at 8 months, they're having 3 meals a day, and meals, it still could just be a banana or avocado or toast or oatmeal. But to me, it felt more important. I felt more comfortable with starting solids a little bit earlier and incorporating some food in rather than doing formula. Again, I am totally not against formula. I actually found some recipes to actually make your own formula. With twins and a toddler, I just didn't even have the time. I've always found breastfeeding to be so much easier. It's just like always there, it's always ready, it's always the perfect temperature. You don't have to clean the bottles, you don't have to think about having bottles, you don't have to make anything. It's just right there. You just have to whip a boob out, and it's like there, done, easiest. You know that they're getting everything that they need. I just love doing it. It's such an incredible way to connect with them, and it's not just for nourishment and sustenance, it's also for comfort as well. I'm so grateful and incredibly fortunate to be able to do it for my babies. So I hope that this video has helped you and inspired you to continue on your breastfeeding journey. If you have a singleton or if you have twins, all of it in between, it's all hard work, it's all a lot. I totally get it. It's mothering it's not for the lighthearted. It is incredibly challenging and so beautiful all at the same time. I'm wishing you so much love and light on your journey. Please send me a message if you have any questions or if you would like to connect. Contact me on my Instagram account at Kate Hill. Thank you so much for watching this week's video. Much love to you. Stay true to you and be well. Ciao for now.